She thought it was just another quiet walk in her own neighborhood, safe, familiar, ordinary. But within moments, everything changed. A man stepped out wearing authority he didn't earn, flashing a badge that wasn't real, and then his hand slid toward a gun. What he didn't realize was that the woman he targeted carried more than strength. She carried secrets that would turn the entire encounter upside down. This wasn't just about control. It was about power, prejudice, and survival. So the question is, how far does racism go when someone believes a lie gives them the right to rule over another life? It was supposed to be a calm evening. Maya, a devoted wife and disciplined woman, had just finished a long day of errands. She carried herself with quiet confidence, the kind that comes from someone who has seen the world. But to her neighbors, she was simply another face in the community. In simple clothes, walking shoes, and with her hair tied back, she blended into the backdrop of suburban peace. Her mind was already on dinner and a phone call she needed to return. The neighborhood was quiet, lawns trimmed, driveways spotless, the kind of street built to look safe. But as she turned the corner toward her home, something was off. A man in a reflective vest lingered, his eyes locked on her. At a glance, he looked like security, maybe even police, but the plastic badge clipped to his chest told another story. He wasn't there to protect. He was there to control. Maya slowed her steps, her instincts sharpening. His vest read HOA security in taped-on letters, but his stare was colder than any uniform could excuse. His voice cut the silence, sharp, commanding, dripping with false authority. "This is private property. You don't belong here." Her pulse spiked. She had lived here for years, paid her dues, kept her home immaculate, and exchanged polite nods with neighbors who sometimes looked straight through her. Yet to this man she was invisible until she was threatening, an outsider simply because of the color of her skin. Calm but steady, she told him she lived just down the street. His jaw clenched. His hand hovered near his hip, and then the faint glint of metal, a gun. The safe suburban evening snapped in two. A jogger passing by sped up, refusing to get involved. Curtains shifted, neighbors peered out, but none stepped forward. Silence wrapped around Maya like a noose. She was on her own. The man stepped closer, chest puffed out, voice growing louder, each word booming against manicured walls, demands for proof, for ID, for justification of her very presence. Every sentence carried an unspoken message. You don't belong. You never did. Maya's training told her to wait, to measure, but her heart hammered with the terrifying knowledge that one wrong move could end her life. Seconds stretched like hours. Then, the crack in the moment. His hand gripped the weapon, pulling it halfway free. The world shrank. His face twisted with rage. The barrel caught the glow of the streetlight, and the silence of her neighbors became complicit. Maya knew she couldn't back away. She couldn't argue. He had already decided she was guilty. The gun came fully into the open, his orders snapping through the night like whips, his rage shaking into desperation. He wasn't protecting anyone. He was hunting her. Fear coursed through Maya's veins, but so did something stronger. Years of Delta Force training had prepared her for moments like this, though never on her own street. Every calculation fired in her mind, the distance, his stance, the tremor in his trigger finger. She could disarm him in seconds. But one wrong move, and she'd become every stereotype he wanted her to be. Around them, phones appeared at windows. Red lights blinked. People wanted to record, not to help. To witness, not to stand. Maya felt the crushing weight of knowing the world would only see his gun, and her skin. His voice rose, cracking into fury. The gun wavered, his grip unsteady. This was it, the razor edge between life and death. Maya steadied her breath, every muscle locked, every instinct burning. Would this be the night another black woman became a headline? Or would she survive, not just by chance, but by choice? The breaking point came fast. Neighbors finally spilled outside, shouting, not in defense of Maya, but in fear of the chaos shaking their pristine street. The man faltered, his bravado slipping, and in that instant Maya moved. With speed honed from years of training, she disarmed him, twisting his arm and pinning him hard to the pavement. The gun clattered uselessly across the asphalt. Sirens followed minutes later, officers flooding the block. But even then, suspicion turned toward her. Their first questions cut deep. "Ma'am, was this your gun?" The truth lay in plain sight, but disbelief clung stubbornly to her skin. Only when reluctant witnesses confirmed her story did they finally pull him away. Maya walked home alive, but not untouched. She had faced enemies abroad in uniform. Yet here she was, fighting an enemy in her own neighborhood, one dressed in nothing more than a fake vest and hate. Survival had become her resistance. But survival should never be the expectation, because this isn't just Maya's story. It echoes across countless lives, on countless streets, where prejudice dresses itself up as authority and silence masquerades as safety. And the haunting truth? If Maya hadn't been trained, if she hadn't kept her composure, she might have been another name whispered in grief. Another headline forgotten by morning. So the question remains, how many more lives must be tested, diminished, or lost before we confront the lies that fuel this cycle? And when the moment comes to act, not just to record, not just to watch, but to stand, whose side will we be on?